Well, a couple of months ago, we met you, and I addressed a press conference on behalf of the party to outline the calendar that the party had agreed upon at a national level. That was supposed to be the framework to guide our presidential and parliamentary primaries. So we gave you dates regarding picking of nomination forms, vetting, appeal processes, all the way to the very day of the primaries. Glad to inform you that all those processes have happened. We went through the procedure where presidential and parliamentary candidates were able to pick their forms, went through the process of filling their forms, came through the process of vetting, after vetting, appeal, and then an appeal process finally opened the door for campaigning. And then we are happy to announce that tomorrow, May 13th, as we announced then in that press conference, tomorrow actually is going to be the day for the presidential and parliamentary primaries of the NDC. You will recall that this process actually started earlier. Started with branch elections, continued through to constituency elections, to regional elections, and culminated in the national congress that we had December last year. Now, so this final part completes the process of election as far as the NDC is concerned, in order to put us in a place to be ready for the battle ahead of us, not just as a party, but as a nation, come December 7, 2024. Now, so let me give you just a few of details regarding what is going to be happening tomorrow in 275 voting centers, 275 constituencies. So we are going to have the presidential and parliamentary primaries tomorrow. The presidential primaries are going to take place in 275 constituencies. There's only one constituency where there will be no presidential primaries. That's the Menchia South constituency. But other than Menchia South constituency, we are going to be having presidential primaries in 275 constituencies. The reason why it's 275 is because the parliamentary will be involving an additional constituency, the South constituency, as many of you know. So that's about the presidential primaries. Now, in terms of the parliamentary primaries, we are going to have 259 constituencies that are going to take part in the parliamentary primaries tomorrow. Now, we have 16 constituencies where voting will be done only for, there'll be no parliamentary primaries, but only presidential. So we are going to have, out of the 259 constituencies that are participating, in fact, the presidential primaries, as I said, is going to happen in 275. Parliamentary primaries is going to happen in 259 constituencies. The voting, as we established earlier, is going to begin 7 a.m. and end at 4 p.m. in order to now pave way for the results to be collated and declared. We're having a total number of 356,624 voters going to be involved in the process. Total number of parliamentary aspirants are going to be 739 parliamentary aspirants. Out of them, 47 parliamentary aspirants are going unopposed. 47 parliamentary aspirants are going unopposed. So effectively, there's going to be a contest that's going to involve close to about 700 aspirants as far as the parliamentary is concerned. In terms of voting centers, we are going to have 420 voting centers nationwide. 420 voting centers across the country. The determination of the voting centers also had to be done according to population size in the constituencies. So we limited each voting center to a maximum of 1,200 delegates. So anything beyond that, then there will be more than one voting center. So we have a number of constituencies where we have more than one voting center. Otherwise, we have in all 420 voting centers across the country. In terms of the preparations for tomorrow, The major document that is going to be used to be able to go through this election, these primaries, both at the parliamentary and presidential, is the delegate list. The delegate list. That is a primary document that's going to be used tomorrow across all of these voting centers, the delegate list. Now, we also are requiring for every delegate that is going to cast their ballot tomorrow to mandatorily come with what you call the EC voter ID card. Every single one of them is required to appear with that EC voter ID card. If you do not have the voter ID card tomorrow, you will not be able to vote. If there's a difficulty relating to maybe having misplaced, there will be provisions done to be able to at least check the appropriate document to be sure what your exact voter ID is in order to enable you to cast your vote. But that is mandatory. All delegates have been informed that they have to appear tomorrow with the voter ID card. Now, the issues that have lately occurred regarding photo album that had caused some amount of difficulties, the party has decided that there will be no issue of photo album across any center tomorrow. We want to stick with our principal, primary, fundamental, document that has to do with the delegate list, and that delegate list is available across all the voting centers and will be the principal means by which the elections will be conducted tomorrow. Now, the other thing also we want to let you appreciate is that the NDC, the Functional Executive Committee of the party, on behalf of the National Executive Committee of the party, has also passed a resolution. And that resolution is to the effect that if for any reason, the Electoral Commission is unable to be present tomorrow to supervise these elections, the Elections Directorate of the NDC will take full charge of that election tomorrow. So that is an important announcement that we want to get out there. That resolution has been passed by the NDC at the Functional Executive Committee level on behalf of the party, that if for any reason, the Electoral Commission is unable to be present tomorrow to conduct these primaries, we would ensure that the Election Directorate of the party across all levels will be in charge of making sure that these primaries are done. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you, in terms of a little breakdown, in terms of the number of aspirants. Of course, I mean, for the presidential, I need not say because it's already pretty much known. We have three aspirants, three candidates that are aspiring. Number one on the ballot, the former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Number two on the ballot is former mayor, Kumasi Mayor, Mr. Kojo Bonsu. He's number two on the ballot. And number three on the ballot, former governor of the central bank, former minister for finance, Honorable Dr. Kobna Dufo, will be, these are the three presidential aspirants. They will be locking horns tomorrow in order for us to be able to come up with the winner, who will then become the flag bearer of the party come December 7, 2024. Now, in terms of the number of aspirants for the upcoming parliamentary primaries, we are looking at, in terms of regional breakdown, as I mentioned, the total number is 739. But in terms of the regional breakdown, we have in Upper East, we have 49 in all. 46 are going to taking part in the primaries tomorrow, 3 unopposed. In the northern region, we have 57 in all. 53 are going to take part in the primaries tomorrow, 4 unopposed. In the Ashanti region, we have 107 in all. Out of the 107, 7 going unopposed. Therefore, we are having 100 aspirants who will be taking part in the parliamentary primaries in Ashanti region. In the Greater Accra, 117 in all. 114 will be taking part in the primaries tomorrow, 3 unopposed. In the Volta region, 75 in all, 2 unopposed, and 73 will be taking part in the primaries tomorrow. In the OT region, 34 in all, no unopposed. In the Western North, 15 in all, 11 taking part in the primaries tomorrow, 4 going unopposed. In the Bono region, 20 in all, 16 taking part in the primaries, 4 unopposed. In the Northeast, 22 in all, no unopposed. So we are having 22 in Northeast taking part in the primaries tomorrow. In the Western region, 29 in all, 4 unopposed. Therefore, 25 will be taking part in the primaries tomorrow. In the Eastern region, 70 in all, 63 going for the primaries tomorrow. Therefore, we have 7 unopposed. In the Savannah region, 17 in all, 16 taking part in the primaries, 1 unopposed. In the Ahafo region, we have 7 in all, 6 taking part in the primaries, 1 unopposed. In the Upper West region, we have 30 in all 30 are taking part in the primaries tomorrow. In the Central region, we have 53 aspirants in all, 47 are taking part in the primaries tomorrow, 6 unopposed. And finally, in the Bono East region, we have 37 in all, 36 in the primaries tomorrow, and 1 going unopposed. So, ladies and gentlemen, this, in a nutshell, is simply a catalog of what it is that you should be expecting tomorrow. So what we've done is to simply walk through to give you the preparations that we've done so far and what it is looking in terms of tomorrow. I can assure you that all the logistical preparations have been done for the ballot materials to be able to reach all those voting centers in order for us to be able to begin the voting tomorrow on time. And so we are asking for God's blessings for all who are going to be traveling, all delegates from every nook and cranny, wherever they are. We ask for divine journey messages for all of them, and we wish all of those people the best of luck. We'll let the chairman make a few comments, then we can take some of your questions.
Well, good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know whether I should be speaking Twi or English.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are live on TV3. We are also live on City TV. And we'll plead with you. Chairman General is going to mess the languages, so please let's bear with him. Thank you very much.
Well, if you make me annoyed, I will speak Hausa. Well, this is the first time I'm addressing you on these election issues, not as a General Secretary, but as a National Chairman. Let me commend my successor for a good work done that has brought us up to this stage. He has explained virtually everything that you need to know about the elections, save that I am coming from another meeting, and it's a meeting that has to deal with some of the challenges I'm sure you are aware of that took us to the court for the past few days. Happily, you have already been informed that the matter that was sent to court by Dr. Kwabrandufo has been withdrawn. And following that, there have been meetings to engage to make sure that all outstanding issues and differences are resolved. So I am to report that even as we speak, there are processes in place that to ensure further engagement with our presidential candidates and some technical teams from our headquarters here to ensure that all other obstacles are cleared. And so we are good to go for the elections tomorrow. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Adufo for the, a good showmanship of statesmanship and the love for the party for withdrawing this case and resort to internal processes of the party to seek resolutions to problems that have emanated in this process. I would like to recommend that path to all party members who may feel aggrieved by anything in the party, that the best thing to do is to resort to internal party processes and to find solution. When that solution is not found, then you may go outside the party structures. So we commend the Dufo team for resorting to internal party processes to find solutions. We are also here as, in a sense, umpires for the whole process of selecting candidates for presidential and parliamentary. So myself and my General Secretary have striven very hard to ensure that we keep our balance and keep an unbiased posturing throughout this process. Because we know that in democracy and in elections like this, it doesn't matter who wins, but how that person wins also matters a lot. And that is why we have adopted that posturing. We also understand that democracy is also about securing the interests of minorities. In fact, the best democracies are the ones that ensures that minority interests are protected. So in every situation that we found ourselves as umpires, we strive to ensure that we balance the interests of minorities and dominant forces in an equitable manner so that the outcomes will be satisfactory to everybody. Having said that, I believe I have discharged in English what you need to know, save one thing. We have also passed a resolution. We held a Zoom meeting this afternoon of the Functional Executive Committee. And we've come to the conclusion that we believe that our internal elections remain our internal elections. And it is the responsibility of the National Democratic Congress to establish ways and means of selecting our candidates, which we will sponsor for elections. It remains our responsibility, and it cannot be taken over by anybody. We have sought to involve the Electoral Commission because we believe that it is much more credible to involve neutral parties in such issues. And so that is as far as it goes. So the resolution we pass is to the effect that at any point in time, when we get to a point where the work of the neutral party we have engaged to help us select our candidates becomes challenging or unavailable, we reserve the right to resort to our own means of selecting our candidates. Because this is a subject that has been discussed in the past, at several meetings with the Electoral Commission, we have taken a position before that if the internal party primaries are public elections, then Electoral Commission are under obligation to conduct those elections for the party free of charge, without any charge to the political party. Because if it is a state institution that has a constitutionally imposed duty to perform as far as our party is concerned, then why should they be charging us? Because it subsists on the public purse. It has been an issue before. And there has been a declaration by Electoral Commission that candidates cannot be construed as part. So if we want them to do it, we must pay for it. So we have been paying for all those services, including the current one. And so if we come to a stage where we realize that for one reason or the other, they are unable to charge on the contract we have entered. Because Electoral Commission has in the past been bothered with court challenges from aggrieved parties arising out of our elections. When I say our elections, I mean the internal elections of both MPP and NDC. We have had at the point to be requested to issue indemnity to the Commission for the conduct of our elections. The terms of which state that they are only conducting the elections for us as a contract duty, as not part of the duties imposed on them by the Constitution. And so they cannot be subject to any legal suit coming out of any process towards selecting candidates for our parties. And the indemnity is still valid. So we are taking full responsibility for the outcomes of our elections. And we are sending notice to aggrieved parties or parties who may be aggrieved after the election, that if they want to proceed against the outcomes of the elections, they should look into our direction and proceed against us and not the Electoral Commission, because we have given them indemnity in the past, and the indemnity has not been revoked. So that is the reason why we have had to pass the resolution that in case at any point the Electoral Commission feels unable to proceed with the contract that we have signed with them, then we should proceed with our internal party structures to conduct the elections. That is it. Our preference is for them to discharge on the obligations they have undertaken to do. But if they fail, then we will resort to other means of getting our candidates elected tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, tomorrow is 13th of May, 2023. when we had this legal challenge, we were informed by the commission that because of the legal challenge, they were unable to proceed. We accepted it and said that we are going to deal with all the legal challenges. We have since dealt with the legal challenges. And all the obligations and the timelines, the only thing that stood to be affected by this delay is the evacuation and transportation of electoral materials. We have met them after the court issues. And we have assured each other that wherever they run into difficulties about the transportation of electoral material, we are available to deploy our emergency response teams to help them to proceed to do that. So far, they have not given us cause to worry that they are unable to distribute the election material. And so we are looking forward to them to perform their obligations under the agreement we have entered with them. For the sake of emphasis, there are two separate elections that are going to take place, even though they are using the same delegate list. You have parliamentary elections and presidential elections. The presidential elections, as has been explained to you, are taking place in all constituencies except Manshia South. And there will be one center here at the headquarters where all our foreign delegates will cast their vote, plus members of the Council of Elders and other people who have special assignments here to cast their votes. We have made those arrangements. And so there will be, in effect, 276 polling, constituencies. There are other constituencies that have challenges with transportation, road network, and other things. So we have had to ask them to do local arrangement. For instance, if you take a constituency like Evaluate Ajomoro Jula, when you want to move from one end to the other, bringing delegates from one end to the other, you have to cross about 4 or 5 other constituencies before you get to the constituency center. So we found it cheaper to break the election into 3 centers so that every cluster will meet at some traditional headquarters and cast the ballot. And so in some of the constituencies, you will see that one happening. It is because of difficulties of transportation and moving people from one end to the other and so on. Then we have 47 candidates or aspirants who have already been declared candidates for our 2024 elections. Our rules stipulate that if at the close of vetting, one candidate emerges as qualified, then immediately after the vetting, that person is declared as elected. So we have 47 of such candidates who have already been elected. We have seen other places where people are contesting unopposed candidates by going to court to try to seek injunction to prevent the parliamentary election. There is not going to be any parliamentary elections in those constituencies because our candidates have already been elected by law. Then we have 16 constituencies that have been ring-fenced. We believe that certain constituencies need some special attention. And the party's preparation in those constituencies is not complete. So we have decided to put them on hold. After the main elections, we will approach each constituency by constituency and deal with the specific issues there to pave the way for the elections to take place. Our hope is that some few months after this main election, all those 16 constituencies will have parliamentary candidates. So the net effect is that tomorrow's election would have parliamentary elections taking place in 212 constituencies because 16 are ring-fenced and 47 we have candidates already. So the elections will not happen in these constituencies. And so we will be left with 212 where the elections will take place as far as parliamentary primaries is concerned. The presidential primaries, as have been said, will take place in all but one constituency, that is Manhyia South. Abusuafo,